Tonight, 150 asylum seekers headed for our mainland. Australia off to a flying start in Glasgow as Kerrie Meares takes our first goal.
He gets a standing ovation.
It's 2014, so why are parents still facing discrimination in the workplace? Did it get hot in here, or did someone get their first look at the 50 Shades of Grey movie? And have you ever thought of outsourcing your life?
People hire people to do all sorts of things. Anything you can think of, people are outsourcing it.
This is The Project.
Good evening, welcome to the project. Say hello to Lehmo and Fifi Box.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, I was busily working away there. I'm ready to go now.
Can I say, I hope that we've provided parkas for the people in the first three rows of the audience. Kerrie may well cover you in snot before we get to the end.
I literally had snot solid here all the way around. I tried to put nasal spray up my nose before and it just dripped back out.
That is a sexy way to start the show.
Let's see what's happening in the news today, Friday the 25th of July. And a stunning turnaround from the government today as the Immigration Minister announced that 157 Tamil asylum seekers who've been detained at sea for a month will be transported to the Australian mainland.
It was the case that had the Australian government described as pirates. 157 Tamil asylum seekers have been detained at sea for nearly a month under Operation Sovereign Borders. The case has been the subject of worldwide attention and an ongoing High Court case. But the Immigration Minister has maintained almost total silence.
If there was a significant event happening, then I would be reporting on it.
It's been claimed the Tamils, including 37 children, have been locked in windowless rooms for 21 hours a day somewhere on the Indian Ocean, while the High Court has pondered the legality of detaining them at sea.
The government continues playing hide and seek with the lives of children.
International law forbids returning asylum seekers to their persecutors, but the government has maintained those legal obligations don't apply outside our territory.
What we do on the water is consistent with our legal obligations and consistent with safety at sea.
This afternoon, an abrupt reversal as the government that staked its reputation on stopping the boats announced the Tamils will be brought ashore onto the Australian mainland.
I have been pleased to consent to the passengers being returned to Australia for the purpose of allowing Indian officials to determine identities and arrange, where possible, for the return of any persons to India. It is our intention those who can be returned should and must be returned.
We requested comment from the government, but they said no. So joining us now, we turn to Hugh Riminton in Sydney. Hugh, we've been waiting for a decision from the High Court. Does this decision preempt that?
Well, the High Court is still scheduled to sit on this matter, but the facts on the ground, or the facts at sea in this case, have definitely changed. And what we're now seeing, from what we can understand from the Minister, Scott Morrison, is that the Indian government is going to be brought in and the checking of identity and other matters are going to be done by the Indian officials, essentially, as he has called it, as a consular matter to see how as many of these people can be returned to India as can be returned to India.
Just on the court case, Hugh, there is actually a case quite similar to this last year under the previous government where they were testing whether or not you can actually turn people around without having done a complete investigation. They only did 4 questions in this case. That one they settled out of court. Now this has happened. Is the government of both parties really just trying to avoid the courts finally deciding on this?
Well, of course, the High Court acted on the Malaysia solution and struck that one down when Labor was in office. I think the key thing that we're going to see here is look closely at what Scott Morrison says. He says none of these people, even though they're going to be brought to Australia, will ever be settled in Australia. Now, senior legal minds like Professor Don Rothwell at ANU say, wait on a minute. If these people arrive on mainland Australia, they probably have, it has to be tested in the court, but probably have the right to put up their hands. They've got to Australia and say, I'm seeking asylum in this country, and they will have to have those claims for asylum dealt with properly within Australia. And that is a breach, if you like, of the previously impregnable wall that the government has put up around these issues.
Certainly a turnaround, Hugh. Thanks for the update. Appreciate your time.
Good to talk to you.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, 37 children, they've been at sea for a month, 157 in total, 37 children been at sea for a month. They're now coming to Australia to be processed here. They will end up back in India, back in Sri Lanka, in Manus Island or Nauru. None of those have been ruled out either. It's just not good enough from our government to be detaining children in this fashion.
Well, unless the court gets in the way. This is the thing. If the court says, well, they can't do that, then maybe they will. come
But
here.
also, why are they being brought to the mainland? What happened to Christmas Island?
Well, that's the thing, they haven't said whether there's
we don't know the answer.
whether
Yeah, we
it's
don't
too
know the
full
answer
or
to
whether
that
they've
question.
just...
Hey,
yeah.
why don't we do a role play? You ask me and I'll give you the answer I reckon the government will. Go on.
I think I know what you're
This will
saying.
be great.
Let's see what's happening in the other day's news now. And Tony Abbott is deploying a small contingent of Aussie troops and another 100 federal police to help protect the crash site of MH17. 90 officers are already poised to enter Ukraine, which has handed over control of the investigation to the Dutch.
Many of the AFB deployed won't be armed. Some of them could be armed. And yes, there will be some ADF as part of this deployment should it go ahead.
The first of our officials have also inspected the crash site where they found more wreckage and further human remains. And adding to the political chaos, Ukraine's Prime Minister has resigned. Well-known Summernorts judge Laurie Starling has been gunned down outside his car restoration business at Gosford on the New South Wales Central Coast. Police are investigating whether there are any bikie links to the brazen drive-by shooting.
As far as we know, he has committed no crime and he is a victim of a brutal, callous murder.
A Melbourne father has denied reports his teenage son was a suicide bomber in Iraq, claiming there is no proof. Authorities believe 18-year-old Adam Darman is behind an attack in Baghdad which killed 5 people last week. But Dad Sam Darman says he only talked to his son a week ago and believes he's still alive. A landmark study by the Human Rights Commission has found widespread discrimination against pregnant women in Aussie workplaces. Almost half of all mums say they've experienced it either during pregnancy or on their return to work. In one extreme case, a woman says her boss advised her to consider an abortion. We will have more on this story later in the program. And Hockeyroos players Brooke Peris and Jade Taylor have snapped the selfie to beat all selfies. They were photo-bombed by none other than the Queen. Following their 4-0 win over Malaysia at the Comp Games in Glasgow, the snap has gone viral, retweeted more than 10,000 times.
I would love it if that was the Queen's thing now. If she just went everywhere jumping in the back of people's photos.
I remember photobombing a lot of people when I was drunk at a wedding last year. And I was doing it so much, got to the point where a lady said, "We're trying to have a family photo." And I was only the next day, I was like, "Oh, Kerrie, what were you doing?"
No need for a drunk uncle when you've got Kerrie Bigmore at the wedding. So the Queen, not surprisingly, has a very polite, well-refined photo bomb technique. Let's see how an Australian does it.
Loved it. It was so amazing and really, really glad that we've done it.
Yeah, worth coming to?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What was the feeling
There we go. That's how an Aussie photo bombs. And I'll tell you someone else who had a good time day one at the Comp Games. That was gold medalist in the men's triathlon, England's Alistair Brownlee. Gets himself a flag there, tries to get another one there. Go on, take another flag. He's getting greedy, seriously. He grabs another one, and he's trying to get another flag. How many flags do you need? Alistair, and then he goes over the finish line. What's this? Steals the tape.
He deserves it.
Must be renovating at his house. He's done well.
Well, we have well and truly smashed it the first day of competition at the Glasgow Comp Games with 5 gold, 3 silver and 7 bronze. We're second on the medal tally, still behind England.
Fresh from carrying the flag in the opening ceremony, cyclist Kerrie Meares claimed our first gold medal in the 500-metre time trial.
Kerrie Meares has got a hat-trick of gold medals at the Commonwealth Games.
Woohoo! I got such a high from this whole week. It's been fantastic. It's been a wonderful, first start to Commonwealth Games for me.
After that, the medals came thick and fast at the velodrome. Jack Bowbridge, Luke Davison, Alex Edmondson and Glenn O'Shea taking out gold in the 4,000-metre team pursuit.
A Games record for the Australians to go back-to-back in the men's 4,000-metre team pursuit.
And then we bagged a silver and a couple of bronzes to boot. We smashed it over at the pool too, with Emma McKeon winning gold just minutes after brother David claimed a silver.
The first of many medals for Emma in Scotland with a Games record as well.
It was a pretty proud moment for Dad, Ron, who won gold in the pool himself at the 1978 Games. Next up was Rowan Crowthers, who led an Australian hat-trick in the parasport 100-metre freestyle. But arguably the most spectacular performance came from the women's sprint relay team, who won gold and broke a world record in the 4x100-metre relay.
To know that you're the best in the world and no one's better, that's pretty out there. And to quote Muhammad Ali, we are the greatest.
Leisel Jones and Mark Howard are our commentators on the ground in Glasgow, and we'll join them poolside shortly. But first, Kerrie Meares, the proud sister of Anna, joins us from Brisbane. Kerrie, this is Anna's 5th Commonwealth gold. Never in doubt, yeah?
No, she's certainly, you know, really excited about her achievements, and so are we as a family. So we're up in the early hours cheering her on.
It's hard to imagine 2008 she broke her neck. I mean, going through the hell at that time, could you have ever seen a time when you were through all that and celebrating the way you are today?
I was there when Anna had a fracture in her neck, and you know, she has a lot of determination. She knows herself really well, and she's a master at performing under pressure. So, you know, all those skills have been able to get her up to where she is today.
Well, absolutely, Kerrie. And not only has she taken out gold, she's also broken Kathy Watt's record, which is a huge feat. How much would that mean to her?
It means a lot. Like, it's been her dream since she was a little girl. And you know, it's gone from, you know, idolisation, admiration, and then into to an honour. She's worked very hard, and it's certainly very rewarding for her within her career and for her life as well.
And Kerrie, Anna may be winning gold over there, but surely she could have found a spare ticket to the velodrome for her sister.
Oh, yeah, I would have loved to have gone, but I'm looking after quite a few athletes here in Brisbane, and I've got my hands full, but, you know, we all support and cheer from a distance as a family here in Australia.
Well, we're supporting and cheering as a nation, Kerrie. Congratulations to Anna, but also to the family. Yeah, thanks very much for speaking to us.
No, thank you. Thank you.
All right, and now we go to Leisel Jones and Mark Howard. Guys, massive wins for our swimmers overnight. I just want to know, at what point does this qualify as bullying?
Now, I think now, to be honest, let's be honest. No, it was a great night in the pool for the Aussies last night. The Scots as well were very good, weren't they, Leisel? But a great night for the Australians, and to see a world record broken and speak to the girls directly after and see the joy on their face was, for mine, the highlight of the game so far. It was fantastic.
Now, Leisel, I know this is speculative, but who do you think is going to win the gold in the pool?
Who's going to win the gold in the pool? It's going to be a challenging one. Men's 4x1 freestyle, that's what we want to see. James Magnuson stepping up and performing. So might be up there this morning, but we'll see. Men have got to get up there and beat the women.
Hey, guys, I've got a... I thought I heard just before that we're second on the medal tally.
Yes, you did hear that.
Behind England.
Yes.
Is there something wrong with my ears and my eyes? This can't be possibly the case. Can you sort this out ASAP?
Well, they had the triathlon early doors and they won a couple of gold medals there, Lehmo, but don't be too concerned. I think we've got them covered. We'll get a lot in the pool. The cycling, we're going pretty well. But I think the Scots are the ones to keep an eye out for, Leisel. Here in the pool, when they got a gold and a silver yesterday, they nearly lifted the roof off. So I'd be a little bit concerned about Scotland at the moment.
There's been a few 1, 2, 3s.
Leisel, does it bring it all back for you when you're there? Do you ever get tempted just to go, I'm just going to jump in and have another crack?
No, definitely not. I like keeping my hair dry and I like wearing makeup. So it's actually, and the smell of chlorine, it's bringing back some bad memories. So I used to always get odour chlorine was my perfume. So I'm very happy not to wear that anymore.
Although, in saying that, she did come to work this morning with her cap and goggles on, so you're never quite sure with Leisel.
I've got my togs on underneath. I'm ready to go just in case they need me.
Oh, that could just be fashion. Thank you very much for speaking to us, guys. We'll see you tonight.
Thank you. And you can catch all the Comp Games action from Glasgow tonight from 8:30 live and exclusive right here on 10. Now, I want to bring you something here. How much attention is too much attention? Because an obscure Kazakh volleyball player has made international headlines for being too pretty. Sabina's teammates say that her good looks are distracting from the game. And she has been credited with attracting a huge amount of media coverage to a sport that doesn't get enough media coverage over there, but they're saying it's unfair. They're saying it's unfair because she's too good looking.
This is shocking news. I had no idea that people watched volleyball.
I'm surprised, though, this has never been brought up with beach volleyball.
I know, they don't wear anything.
I know. But my problem is I based all women from Kazakhstan on the Borat film. But it turns out that wasn't an accurate representation.
I'm so glad you said film at the end of that, because I was worried you were just basing them on Borat. We have to go to a break. We'll be back soon.
Coming up on the project, fitness fashion with a shock for shaggers. And did someone say giant fart machine? Unfortunately, yes. You're watching The Project.
Welcome back.
James Hurd's 12-month suspension expires next month, but he won't coach Essendon this season. He'll return to the club, but the Bombers have instructed him to stay away on game days until 2015. Hurd was banned for a year for his role in the club's supplement scandal.
for the coaching panel and for the football department. They just want things to remain normal, and they don't want any distractions, and James fully supports that.
And if you're struggling to get back on the exercise bandwagon, this fitness bracelet may be just for you. The Pavlok not only tracks your daily steps, it also zaps you with electric shocks if you don't meet your target. It's expected to hit the shelves next year.
How long do the shocks last?
I don't know, that's awesome.
No, because it depends. Like, if the shocks aren't, like, seriously long, I might just take them. Have you been running? It really hurts.
I know, I do run, and then I often stop to walk, and that would be like, no, run, run, run.
I think that's a horrible thing. Guilt does it for me. I don't need an electric shock to push me any further.
Exercise shock. After about 2 days, I'd shock it with a hammer.
Talk about, you're all Mr. Fitness now.
Yeah, I know. I do like going for a run, but I don't like being electrocuted.
What if your exercise of choice is swimming? That'd stuff you.
That wouldn't be good.
That's a good point. Yes. Hey, what about this though? Tell you who might have been. Yeah, quite well made, Waleed. I'll tell you who might have been. It was too logical. I'll tell you who might have been wearing one of those at the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony, one of these shock wristbands. Was Australian judo dude Duke Didier, because he was very buzzed post ceremony.
Oh look, that was amazing. The whole place was electric. It went off. I've still got goosebumps. It was absolutely incredible. Everyone was dancing. Everyone was just living the moment. Look, I was in shock when it started. It was absolutely tremendous. The whole thing.
Oh, I love that man.
Step away from the Red Bull, sir.
Time to see what else is making news around the globe.
There are no reports of survivors after the wreckage of an Air Algérie passenger jet was found in Mali. The plane disappeared with 116 people on board about an hour after it took off from neighbouring Burkina Faso. Authorities believe it came down during a severe rainstorm. Palestinian officials have accused Israel of bombing a UN-run school in Gaza. At least 16 people were killed and more than 200 others were wounded in the attack. Many were women and children taking shelter from the shelling. Maryam Ibrahim, the woman who escaped the death penalty in Sudan for refusing to renounce her Christian faith, has been blessed by Pope Francis. She and her family met the pontiff at his private residence after being welcomed at Rome Airport by Italy's Prime Minister, Matteo Renzi. And a nutty British inventor has built a homemade flatulence machine housed in a 5-metre high bum and used it to fart at France. Colin Furs parked his gadget on the cliffs of Dover near Folkestone and sent farty sounds 33 k's across the English Channel.
I'll tell you what, they could have get rid of the bagpipes at the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games and bring in the fart machine.
That's a long way for a fart to travel.
That's true. France.
Can I ask you, as a comedian, how do you feel with him stealing half your material?
Yeah, I know, it is hurtful. I believe that fart machine is doing a show at next year's Melbourne Comedy Festival, so look out for it, guys.
That too. That's still funny, no matter how many times. I can't do it properly.
That's the old school.
When you can do it properly.
I just love the image of you on a primetime news program sitting there.
News presented differently. Now, speaking of great inventions, a new solar-powered car rolled into Melbourne today after breaking an average speed record over 500 kilometres. And a guy there pumping it up was very happy with himself when answering the question, how much power did it use?
And how about the electricity? How much electricity is used during the record attempt? Well, the power used by the entire car is roughly the same as a 4-slice toaster.
On crumpet setting, just to be clear, on crumpet setting.
Whoever uses crumpet setting. It's time for a break now. Stay with us.
Coming up, imagine being told to choose between your baby and your job. A new report finds parental discrimination in the workplace is alive and well. And which Hollywood actor has slammed the Sydney Opera House? This is The Project.
Welcome back. You're on The Project. Lehmo, any Commonwealth Games updates for us?
Well, all I've got written here, Waleed, is judo bumface.
As well, have been instructed. Got to be strict.
Oh yeah, that is. I think bumface is the technical name for that maneuver. Yep, and get to hair. Oh, yep, and hand face. They are now engaged. Those two.
Well, the New South Wales Waratahs are favourites to beat the Brumbies in tomorrow night's Super Rugby semi-final in Sydney. They're poised to advance after securing the minor premiership with a record 7 straight wins. Tomorrow's other semis at Christchurch between the Crusaders and the Durban Sharks.
HG Nelson's all over this. HG, this is the semi-final that Super Rugby Australia has been looking forward to for years, but it is plagued by an ongoing feud between the Waratahs and the Brumbies. What's going on?
Well, absolutely right, Waleed. Waratahs and Brumbies, a big one this weekend. I think that the Waratahs have had the wood on the Brumbies for a number of years now, with the exception of when it comes to finals. And in the finals, the Brumbies have been dominant. But that's nothing compared with the stink that's going on the sideline. Tarman, the Waratah mascot, has got the if I can say that on television at this time of day, with Brumby Jack, the Brumbies mascot. It's tremendous. It's bringing kids back to rugby. Of course, people will have seen, no doubt, Brumby Jack in the suit going for the hurl. Magic photos there. It's got nothing to do with it. They just hate each other's guts. And that's great for rugby.
HG, there's another huge rivalry in the AFL this weekend. Could we be seeing a grand final preview?
I think so, Lehmo. Well spotted. We've got the Battle of the Birds, as I like to call it, and I think I'm the first in Australia to use that term, the Battle of the Birds, in relationship to AFL, because we got the Swans, the Sydney Swans, versus the happy team from Hawthorn, the Wee and the Pooh. It's going to be a beauty. This is going to be a humdinger. I think the mascots will be sidelined because the action will be fast and furious on the park.
And HG, moving forward to September in the AFL, I believe a very big name will be joining us grand final day.
I know, this is tremendous, isn't it, Lehmo? This is a dream come true for everybody, you know, maybe round about 90. Look, whispers reaching me too loud to ignore. Too loud to ignore. And can I just say, before I come to revealing who's going to be singing at the grand final, Meatloaf set the bar so high all those years ago that people were wondering, would it ever be cleared? And so the AFL, in a wisdom that can only be described as inspired, have suggested Tom Jones might be possible. Now, for those who know the Tom Jones oeuvre, my Delilah still talks to kids.
Well, HG, I think you've spoken for all of us. Thanks for joining us. That's a great rap. I've never been complimented on my rap before.
Now, I've got something to